Welcome back everybody to a brand new video. This is our first video of February and I need to step up my upload schedule because I promised myself that I would do daily uploads, but I missed 2 whole weeks in January due to travel and other things. So yeah, the YouTube grind is real. I need to get better at it. Today we've got a very special feature though, because this is SnipedBrah, one of the best trainers in the APAC region, specifically Oceania and Australia. I remember watching SnipedBrah back at OCIC, definitely very talented, and we're gonna take a look at his insane Shadow Diggersby. Check out the IVs on this beast. You might be asking yourself, why run the Shadow Diggersby instead of the regular? And honestly, PvPoke doesn't say that it does that much better. Let's take a look. In the Zero Shield situation, Shadow Diggersby picks up Alolan Sandslash in Superior, but it drops Abomasnow, Ariados, Corviknight, Diggersby in the Mirror Match, Shadow Kanto Marowak, and Shadow Quagsire. In the ones, Shadow Diggersby actually picks up B-Barrel, Shadow Feraligatr, and Shadow Kanto Marowak, which honestly is pretty good. However, you are again losing the Mirror versus the regular Diggersby. You're losing Greninja, Guzzlord, Malamar, Mandibuzz, and Shadow Alolan Marowak. In the 2-Shield might be where Shadow Diggersby shines the best, because you pick up Ariados, B-Barrel, Jumpluff, Shadow Alolan Marowak, as well as Shadow Kanto Marowak, and Shadow Quagsire. And you lose some consequential matchups like Dashbun, Wigglytuff, and Malamar, but most notably you do lose the Shadow Drapion, which is absolutely crazy for a Shadow Drapion to beat a Shadow Ground type in the 2 Shields when Drapion is just so flimsy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into these games. SnipedBrah does play on an iPad, and I really like this team because he's got Shadow Diggersby in the lead with Feraligatr, Non-Shadow, and Galarian Corsola in the back. We saw the Corviknight lead there, and then we see the safe swap into the Azumarill. He's going to go with his Galarian Corsola. Let me know down in the comments below if you have a good IV Galarian Corsola or not. I'm always going to flex my rank 22 from Benji Praise. So again, thank you so much, Benji, in Mexico for that trade. This best buddy, Galarian Corsola, though, is going to go for the Nightshade against the Azumarill, and it looks like he's going to go on the Charge Tech priority tie, and this, I don't want to say this is an extra small, but it looks like it might be. Azumarill going to fire the second Play Rough here, but that best buddy ribbon lets you know this Pokemon is going to have just a little extra juice in the tank. Play Rough does connect. Do we see the Astonish down? Yes, with just 1 HP. Galarian Corsola hangs on, and now the Corviknight comes back in. Diggersby going to come out to meet it, and now there's an Annihilate in the back. That was actually a really fascinating situation to be in because Diggersby Fire Punch does do well against Corviknight, and it's going to heavily resist the Sand Attack from the Corviknight. Basically does like 1 damage. But if you would have sent the Feraligatr, which is actually a better matchup, into the Corviknight, then he would have been hopeless against the Shadow Annihilate in the back. So definitely going to spin some shields here. This is the pivotal point of the matchup. Rage Fist does get shielded up there. Another Hydro Cannon to try to peel away this final Protect Shield. And even if the Shadow Claws are not enough, I think SnipedBrah wants to make sure that the damage from the Fire Punch would KO. He actually banks a Hydro Cannon on the Feraligatr and then swaps into that Shadow Diggersby. And look at those red eyes. Definitely a cute Pokemon that became very menacing when it did acquire that Shadow form. Now Corviknight's going to fire an attack. Payback, Sky Attack. It's going to be the latter this time, Sky Attack. Actually does a respectable amount of damage to the Diggersby, but like we just said a moment ago, the Sand Attack is barely doing anything at all. So Corviknight, very difficult for it to win that game. Game number 2, Shadow Diggersby into the Shadow Drapion. We talked about this in the 2 Shields. Shadow Drapion can win this matchup, and I believe that is with baits as well. So even if the Diggersby double baits Fire Punch and tries to get to the Scorching Sands, it gets hit with those triple Aqua Tails more quickly than it can muster those charge attacks of its own. Fire Punch bait does grab the first shield there for SnipedBrah, which is very nice. And he's going to go and fire another Fire Punch on Charge Attack priority. Sniped was telling me as well, I think this was the second Diggersby that he was able to catch, which is fascinating because that's very good odds, very good roll there. No shield on the second Fire Punch bait, which is kind of nasty, but SnipedBrah makes that energy inefficient with the switch. Switches right into his Water type Feraligatr to soak the Aqua Tail. Coming in with the Galarian Moltres now, but that single Shadow Claw lead is going to make this matchup a bit more competitive, especially considering when there's only 1 shield on each side. Hydro Cannon does pull the shield. Great bait by SnipedBrah trying to get to the Ice Beam. Opponent is counting very well as expected at this ELO range. Ancient Power does get shielded up. No boost, waits a turn. for mysterious reasons, because I'm pretty sure that Moltres was still switch locked. But I think he wanted a little less HP on the Feraligatr, so it was less farm, which is also very, very smart. Instant pivot alley-oop into that Shadow Diggersby. I cannot believe the Lakers and the Mavericks made that trade, but here we are. Gonna go for the Scorching Sands here into the Azumarill, and this is basically just to soften it up. This is a really nice position to be in, though, if you are SnipedBrah, because if you debuff this Azumarill, it gets even worse for it. Now it's half health and has to contend with a fully healthy Galarian Corsola. So if you're doing the quick maths in your head, this Azumarill needs to land 3 play roughs, I would assume, before this Galarian Corsola can get to the single Nightshade and probably Astonish down. Hydro Pump, actually, hold on. Hydro Pump might be a game changer here for this Azumarill. This is probably the first time in a long time that I've seen a Hydro Pump Azu. Nightshade does connect. Do need to see a catch. Oh my gosh, SnipedBrah lines up the shot, catches the Hydro Pump on the Feraligatr, and that was absolutely gross. Opponent top lefts, absolutely demoralized. That's a season-ending injury for the opponent. That's so rough. We're going to see Togetic lead in this next battle. Togetic with Fairy Wind is a little bit tricky, I think, for the Diggersby if it is rocking Acrobatics. Ancient Power, Aerial Ace, Dazzling Gleam might be a little tricky as well. It is going to be Aerial Ace, which is definitely more consistent damage, but come on. Everyone who watches the channel knows that I'm an Acrobatics guy. Acrobatics Jump Love, Acrobatics Emoga, Acrobatics on the Togetic, please. That would be really, really nice. Gonna see another Charge Attack, another Aerial Ace comes through here onto the Diggersby. Gonna stay in here as well. If you have a Togetic in the lead, you're weak to Steel, Poison, and Fire, which I think would lend itself to seeing some Water types in the back. I think that's very likely here. This Pokemon is going to be very good at beating things like Serperior as well, so I do like this pick. It's interesting. But we'll see how it goes. Fire Punch going to get fired off here by SnipedBrah, KOing that Togetic. Oh, Annihilate in the back. Okay, Annihilate Togetic. Interesting, interesting. I guess this helps against that Steel weakness that we were just talking about. Hydro Cannon does get shielded up there. This regular Feraligatr, I think, can soak this first Rage Fist, and this is a major factor in choosing your Feraligatr. Oh, never mind, it's a close combat. Forget everything I just said. But this actually sets up that Galarian Corsola extremely well, because now these Astonishes are going to do a lot of damage. Oranguru in the back. I absolutely misjudged this team completely. I thought when you see Togetic, you're going to see water in the back, but I guess I was wrong. Going to switch to that Diggersby now. Trailblaze Brutal Swing is probably going to be the most likely combination for the Oranguru here. This is a pretty gutsy shield by Sniped as well, because if you are going to take buffed Confusions, you really need to trust in your Diggersby to absorb the damage. Oh, and that's why he goes for the double Fire Punch. I love this play so much because he's getting guaranteed damage and he barely hangs on there to get off the move. Oranguru is going to get off a boosted Brutal Swing, which is a little tricky for SnipedBrah here. Brutal Swing, oh, actually hurts quite a bit, and because normal is double resisting the Ghost, but the Ghost is weak, the Psychic is weak to it, it is just going to be single resisted, but in comes the Annihilate. Going to go for the Nightshade. That's a massive KO. One more Astonish gets the job done. Galarian Corsola, very, very powerful. SnipedBrah going to go to his next matchup. He's at 2977. Which is really impressive here. I think he went a little bit higher than that with the Shadow Diggersby, but it's always fun to see unique teams. Personally, as a Diggersby fan, I love that matchup into the Dunsparce. I have seen a lot of this core as well. A lot of Wigglytuff Dunsparce core, which is pretty interesting. You got double normals, but you do have very different playstyles based on the different subtypings there. And the fast attacks, right? And the charge attacks. Basically, they operate like very, very complementary Pokemon. Icy Wind does get shielded up there. We don't see a swap here from SnipedBrah. He does have a pretty tricky situation in the back because he's got Shadow Claw for Alligator and he's got Astonish Galarian Corsola. So dealing with the Dunsparce is not as clean as you would like if you're sniped in this situation. I'm gonna throw the Fire Punch here. Will this be enough? It actually is, which is nice. In comes the Annihilate. My gosh, he has to bail this Diggersby out of these Annihilate matchups over and over and over again because the Annihilate can be so punishing against the normal types. Hydro Cannon does get shielded up there. He honestly, ooh, this is tough. He's going to shield. He's going to trust himself to outpace. I think the opponent catches the Hydro Cannon here. Oh, they don't. They actually want to do as much counter damage as possible, which is fascinating. Going to be 4 rollouts for the first charge attack on that Dunsparce, which means Feraligatr will get at least 1 Hydro Cannon here, which is nice. It helps that Galarian Corsola quite a bit, And I think the Dunsparce has to land 3 charge stacks to KO here with the rollouts in between, so it's going to be a little tricky. Maybe 4? Oh yeah, I think 3 is a fair number once you incorporate all the fast attack damage. Dunsparce is going to go for another charge stack here. Galarian Corsola will lose that charge stack priority, and overcharging just a bit here. No swaps, no reason to really be wary of a catch for that reason. Gonna land the power gem here. A little bit of a opponent might have left the game. Yeah, it looks like the opponent top left it. They realize that they are unable to win it. Coming back with the Diggersby for the style point. SnipedBrah wants another KO on the tally for that Shadow Diggersby, and I don't blame him at all. It's a really sick Pokemon. Next battle is going to be Shadow Diggersby into Dewgong. Gonna safe swap that for Alligator. This is a very counterintuitive matchup because you would think the Water Ice, that is double resisting water attacks, is going to be favored against the pure water type Pokemon, but that is not the case, especially when the shields are up, because this Shadow for Alligator Shadow Claws, or excuse me, these Shadow Claws from the for Alligator really rip through the HP of the Dewgong here. Gonna go for another Hydro Cannon. SnipedBrah firing off these shots back to back practically. Oh, coming in with the ground type. Really good timing there by Sniped. We see the 1-turn switch and then the 3-turn Mud Slap, and in the midst of that he does 2 Shadow Claws to avoid allowing his opponent to sneak. That's something I'm still working on because the fast attack animations these days can be so wildly inconsistent. It looks like 1 counter comes through and then 2 counters come through immediately and then a 3rd, and the Mud Slaps are all staggered and weird looking. So getting your timing right, especially after a swap, is a huge skill point that a lot of these top trainers are able to master. Because of the attack drop, he's able to no shield the Bone Club. I love this play a lot. And fires a Scorching Sands in the midst of that second Ice Shard. The second Ice Shard damage would have applied on turn 6, but because he fires off the 2 quick attacks and then the we see the swap, and the Scorching Sands on turn 5, it means he doesn't take that damage. Galarian Corsola mirror match, but the differential here is the double shield advantage for SnipedBrah. Gonna go ahead and fire the Nightshade here onto that opposing Galarian Corsola, looking for the knockout. Doesn't quite get it, but I think after 2 more Astonishes, wow, that's actually very clean. He might have had to give up a shield there if the opponent got to another one, which would have been tricky, but because he doesn't have to give up the shield, he's actually in a very good position. Yeah, if that opposing Galarian Corsola hangs on through that, this matchup gets really hairy, because I do think that Marowak would be able to land the Bone Club and possibly KO, so it could have been tricky down the stretch. Next battle, Shadow Diggersby lead as expected into Dragonite. I've seen a lot of Dragonite leads, and it's honestly really annoying because I also am playing Diggersby lead these days. And yeah, it's really annoying to deal with the Dragonite. It's going to be 6 quick attacks to the Dragon Claw and only 7 quick attacks to the Superpower. So you definitely want to shield just to be safe. I love how he builds to the Hyper Beam as well to try and threaten away this Protect Shield. Opponent doesn't give it though, doesn't take the bait, doesn't buy it. He's not buying what you're selling, SnipedBrah. He doesn't think you've got Hyper Beam, but the double Fire Punches do get the job done. That is a really nice benefit of having the Shadow, because those Fire Punches do just 20% more. Gogoat comes in here. This is a Pokemon that I have not seen in a long time. Brick Break Leaf Blade, for those of you that do not know, that is the recommended set. They took Rock Slide from us. Niantic, curse you. And we're going to see, speaking of curses, Astonish doing a lot of ghost-type damage to this Go-Go. Can easily absorb another Leaf Blade, but the Vine Whips are adding up. Going to go for another Nightshade here. This will likely KO the Go-Go. What a weird team. Oh, the swap! Trying to get to the Fire Punch. I think we see a shield here. I think we do. Yeah, but this is so risky. This is so risky by Sniped, because if your opponent switches something in, you're now exposed. With no shields, and the Leaf Blade is going to wreck your Diggersby. It's going to wreck your Feraligatr, although you do have the regular Feraligatr, which helps quite a bit. Attack drop on the Cresselia makes this interesting. I expect SnipedBrah to come in, build to double Hydro Cannons, soak 1 Grass Knot, and then just try to close this matchup out. But he's not going to fire these off until he's got 2, because I think the switch is going to come up sometime in the next 10 seconds or so, and he doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable. Yeah, he's trying to put this Cresselia within, very nice, within Hydro Cannon range, and he also, I think, reached the Charge Attack priority tie, which is gorgeous play. Oh, he makes the Ice Beam! SnipedBrah is making sure that this Go-Goat is not going to be a problem any longer, so very nice connection there by SnipedBrah, lining up the scope. hitting the Ice Beam on the Gogoat just to make sure that that game is tied up with a bow. Next battle, SnipedBrah did climb some ELO. He's up to 30-22. Shout out to one of my favorite number combinations, believe it or not. Gonna take on Munchie here. We've got Diggersby into Galarian Corsola. What a lead. Shadow or not, this is a very nice position to be in for the Shadow Diggersby. Coming with the Primeape. Oh, guys, I've got a really exciting video for you. It probably won't come out for a little while, but I was having a lot of success with Shadow Primeape. I've got a rank 10. I'm really excited to show you what those games are like. Coming out with the Galarian Corsola, we know that this pacing on Primeape is going to be very, very fast. Only 4 Karate Chops to the Rage Fist. But SnipedBrah is far enough ahead on HP that he doesn't need to worry. Astonish takes out the Primeape. Oh, in comes Diggersby. Actually going up 5 Astonishes against the Diggersby. I was paused because that seemed like a lot. It seemed like a lot of energy there. But I trust him. He's a master. Looking for his own Diggersby, switches right back into it. We know that there's a Galarian Corsola on the other side. So I like the idea to keep the Feraligatr around. No attack drop is also very fortunate after throwing up the shield there. It feels so bad to shield and then get debuffed, but he knows he's going to tank 2, so he's got to shield one of them. Going to go for the Scorching Sands to try to even the playing field here, although the shield advantage is still in the opponent's court. Opponent no shields, which is also pretty interesting because they know that Galarian Corsola is going to be hopeless against Diggersby. But as it gets weaker, it gets closer into Power Gem range. Double debuffed. I wasn't sure if we see a swap there from SnipedBrah, but he doesn't want to switch lock himself and then get debuffed. So he'd rather stay in here while double debuffed and try to get his shield back, which I think is definitely the right play. Opposing Diggersby, non-shadow. What a normie. Is going to get the KO onto SnipedBrah. And now we see the Feraligatr coming into the Galarian Corsola matchup. Do we see... Actually, I was going to ask if we saw a sacrificial swap, but I don't think so. Because he does have that Nightshade banked and the Power Gem as well. So I think that is a failsafe pick. Oh, sniped! Oh my gosh. Coming in with a combo play here to Nightshade on, I believe, Charge Type priority. Making Inadequates very proud. Gonna go for the Power Gem. Can he get there? Wow. Okay, sniped. Okay, hold on. I know this video is about Shadow Diggersby, but what are you feeding that Corsola, man? That thing is insane to survive all those quick attacks and get to that final Power Gem. That was disgusting. Here we see the Malamar lead. Malamar, the pacing is a little bit funny on this Pokemon. I think it's 14 Psy Waves to the Foul Play, and I think it's 12 Psy Waves to the first Superpower. But then it's like 14 minus and 12 minus. So it's like 14, 13 for the Foul Plays, and then 12, 11 for the Superpowers. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. Scorching Sands does pull the debuff. I feel like whenever I play Diggersby, it's like alternating days. Some days I get all the debuffs, and then the next day I play it, I get none of the debuffs. So it's definitely fair and balanced, like Fox News. We're going to see a Scorching Sands. Sorry, I want to keep politics out of this. We're going to see a Scorching Sands connect, and then he's going to go into the Feraligatr here. Now that this Pokemon is within Hydro Cannon range, this is a much better matchup for the Gator. However, Scorching Sands does deal a big chunk to that Feraligator's HP. Gonna go and fire that off. Oh, opponent thinks that they can double down on the Diggersby here. I would not be surprised to see a Fire Punch bait at this point. Does Snipes call it? Ooh, it is a Fire Punch bait. I did not watch these battles beforehand, I promise. But I do wish I could play as well as SnipedBrah. Gonna see the Hydro Cannon get fired off here. This will be enough to pick up the KO. Opponent is going to wait out that switch clock. I like on the iPad, this is so tiny and inconsequential, but I like on the iPad how you can see the tail of the Feraligatr a little bit more. It's actually kind of cool. Gonna fire up the Foul Play here. Malamar's got a tough hill to climb or slide up, I guess is what a squid would do. Oh, great timing by Sniped as well. I wouldn't even trust myself to fire the second Astonish there, but he knows his counts very, very well. He's able to get more chip damage and carry over some energy into this matchup. Not that it's going to matter that much because Azumarill is going to get to the charge attack here to get the KO. Ooh, now he's in a tough position. I think you sent in the Gator, right? He sent in the Gator? No, he wants the debuff first. This makes a lot of sense. The reason I was saying Gators because you're not going to resist the bubbles. So if you stay in, you get bubbled down. Oh, Sniped. Wow, we're going to see a flurry of charge attacks. First Hydro Cannon gets fired off. Second Hydro Cannon is almost ready, but he might lose this game. That Azumarill is already closing in on the Ice Beam. Azumarill hangs on through the Shadow Claw, through the double Hydro Cannon and the Scorching Sands, and still gets to the Ice Beam. I'm telling you, SnipedBrah went into his bathroom, pulled out the sink, and threw it at this Azumarill, and it still was not enough to get the KO. All right, everybody, we're in the last battle of the video. If you've enjoyed these games from SnipedBrah, please shout him out down in the comments below. Say GG Sniped, very well played, and let me know what you think of the video overall. We're going to see a Diggersby mirror match in this last battle of the video. I'm going to go for the Scorching Sands here. Because this Diggersby is so juiced on its IVs, it is going to lose a charge tag priority, which is not what you'd expect from a rare Shadow. Normally the Shadows have just a pinch more attack because you can't be as selective with the IVs. However, on his Diggersby, it is just that good. Nice attack drop as well. Sniped, as all seasoned players do, once they realize that they're going to lose that charge tag priority, they don't force it anymore. Instead, they go for the extra energy just in case there's a swap. I love the wait as well, just to make sure that the opponent is not trying to swap on the charge attack there. Oh my gosh, is this a Fire Punch? That would be so insane if it was. Bruh. That's where the bruh comes from in SnipedBrah, when he makes plays like that. Gonna see the Hydro Cannon get fired off. Great timing as well. Again, so clean with the switches and not allowing these 3-turn charge or fast attacks to come through, excuse me. Probably gonna be an Icy Wind, but he's gonna shield just to be safe. It actually is the Swift. Maybe my counting was a little bit off, but great timing there by Sniped. Gonna go ahead and fire the Hydro Cannon here. This will pick up the KO if it doesn't get shielded, but Wiggles wants to stay in this matchup. Oh, goes back into the Diggersby. Throws the 2 quick attacks after the swap. Again, more clean timing from SnipedBrah here. Fire Punch does connect, but it's not enough. Coming in with the Drift Limb. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do in this situation? You wait down your switch timer first. That's what you do. Coming in with the Glaring Corsola, still about 20 seconds or so on that for Alligator. But the Astonishes are really adding up. Do you call an Icy Wind bait? Icy Wind bait. I think you have to shield it though, because the Astonishes are doing so much damage. Gonna fire this one off here. I would not be surprised at all to see a blind switch here from Sniped, but opponent might be predicting it. Hey, there it is. Opponent did not call it, but Sniped is in his head. Rent free. Oh, Astonish takes out their 2 Pokemon remaining. SnipedBrah fires off the Nightshade against the Wigglytuff. It's resisted, but it's going to be enough. This Wigglytuff is so weak. Final Pokemon in the back is going to be the Diggersby. 1, 2 more Astonishes. Pick up the KO, and SnipedBrah able to get a win there in that final game of the video. Sniped, I just want to say thank you so much for sending me this footage. Shadow Diggersby is a beast. Again, it doesn't look that great in the shooting scenarios, but I think the closing power is severely underrated. Appreciate you so much, my friend. And everybody, please drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you very, very soon.